Hi, I'm August Keller, and this is my review of Jurassic World Rebirth. So, this movie really feels disinterested in its own story. It really is just kind of going through the motions of a basic Jurassic Park story. There are clear objectives that move the plot, but it's very stale. There's like almost nothing else to it. It's all very minimal. This is worsened by there being almost no drama whatsoever, no character development. They have weak motivations. There's no internal conflicts, and there are no real arcs either. I mean, you can say they like pay lip service to there being an internal conflict, but it's set up. They don't talk about it. There's no exploration of anything. They just kind of feel a certain way, and at the end of the movie, they change their minds. That's not really an arc, and that's all there is to the drama, all there is to the emotion, and that really takes all the air out of the movie. It's so because there's no emotion like that, it's just all we have left is the plot, the things that are happening, and that is something we've seen before. So there really just isn't anything here. It's all very bare bones. There's also a like B plot with these like a whole set of other characters. They're all very superfluous. They're excessive, and all they do is distract from the main thread. I really think they could have completely cut that out. It would not have changed anything. It would have made the movie better because all it does is kind of muddle things. There's some repetitive exposition. There's no survivalism. I think in a movie like this, that's an opportunity to like explore survivalism, like, maybe how these characters manage out in the jungle with predators surrounding them. But there's nothing, they don't do anything regarding that. There's a lot of digressions where like an entire scene is just for a joke. There's a lot of plot armor that makes everything super tensionless. Like the action sequences are just kind of happening, and it's just very disengaging. The climax I found very splintered, where there's because there's so many characters, we're just cutting between all these different things that are happening, and it's hard to keep track and hard to care. And then there's no resolution, like I said, because like I said, the arc is very surface level, so they just kind of change their minds and the movie's over. And there's not like any kind of like emotional resolution. It's just kind of like everything's just so external. So yeah, this movie really just kind of follows cliches and adds nothing of its own. So it's the whole movie feels like filler. It's like a feature-length episode that could be cut from a series. And yeah, that bleeds into the acting. The acting, they have attempts at vulnerability and distress. Like these actors can act, but they don't have any opportunity to act because they're confined by this such broad and emotionless material. There's nothing to these characters. They're just flat cardboard cutouts, and so the actors can't do anything with it. So yeah, all that is to say that Jurassic Park Rebirth is just a perfunctory retread. I know I say that a lot about these like legacy sequels, but that's what this is. The story is a great example of just nobody actually caring, just churning it out because they know it'll make money. Technically, I would say Jurassic Park Rebirth is a little more has more redeeming qualities. It strives for spectacle, but it still feels very muted. I mean, a lot of that is because of the material, but there are other flaws too. So with the tone is very, very broad. The tension, like I said, the suspense is non-existent. The cinematography has, moments of good lighting and interesting angles, but also I think the climax is pretty drab and dark. I don't know why they insist on doing this, but I feel like I say that a lot, but here it is again. The editing, it has appropriate levels of action. I don't think it's ever exhausting. It's never too delayed either. The beginning is a little dry, and the runtime is passable, but also the editing really doesn't construct any suspense. Like I said, the set pieces are just kind of like I feel neutral towards them because and Jurassic Park's a great example because the first Jurassic Park, the action sequence in those are very memorable. They're building suspense. This movie doesn't really do that. It's just action sequence starts and things happen and then they're over. There's no like rhythm to them. And also, there's a lot of cross cutting in this movie where they cut between the main plot line and the B plot line, and it just feels very arbitrary, and it's always interrupting the momentum. So it's just kind of like we have to keep starting over. Like, oh, we're back to this story. They don't really like intertwine. They don't lead into each other. They just kind of like, it's like I'm shifting between two separate movies that interrupt each other. The sound design has all the genre elements you'd expect, so there's that. The music, I don't know, sometimes I felt like it was doing this grand adventure thing. I mean, maybe not the most memorable scoring, but, you know, hitting the right notes. But then also sometimes I felt like it was like awkward and completely misuses the classic theme, like just at the wrong times. Like they're having a small, quiet conversation, and then they start playing the main theme of the franchise, and it's like, is this the time to be playing that? The production design, you know, has a sense of place and scale, so that's pretty nice. The cast has proper fame and good diversity. The digital effects are abundant, but I also found them kind of inconsistent in their level of convincing, how convincing they are. Sometimes it looks great. Sometimes the dinosaurs look really glossy and cheap looking. Also, there's like some green screen shots that I found very distracting, where it's like obviously green screen, which I always find really, especially with adventure movies, it really kind of takes the air out of that too, because, you know, it's supposed to be immersive, it's supposed to be exotic, and instead I just feel like it's just digital. So I don't know. I'm conflicted with the effects are better. There's a lot more good effects than not good effects, but there are enough not good effects where I feel like I should mention that. So, anyways, all that is to say that Jurassic Park Rebirth is mediocre. I don't think it's outright bad. The last couple Jurassic World movies were, I think, bad. I think Jurassic World, the first Jurassic World, is okay. I think people like it more than they should, or it gets more credit than it deserves. I think this is maybe worse than Jurassic World, but better than Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. And I actually like the first trilogy the best. I would say Jurassic Park's my favorite, of course, obviously. Then The Lost World, I think, is the only good sequel. I think Jurassic Park 3 is, I'm down with it. I don't dislike it. And I think, but Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, and this one, Jurassic World Rebirth, are all kind of close in my opinion. And then the other two are just not good. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. If you like what I'm doing here, please feel free to like and subscribe. I also have an Instagram linked in the description. I'd love support there as well. But, you know, at the very least, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye.